Hello everyone, welcome to Brilliant Public School online edu classes. Today we are going to continue with the second part of Working of Institution, which is lesson number 5 of Democratic Politics of class 9th. In this video, we are going to talk about political executive and permanent executive. So let us begin with the political executive. So we'll talk about the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is the head of the Council of Ministers. The President appoints the Prime Minister, but the President cannot appoint anyone he likes. The President appoints the leader of the majority party or a coalition of the parties that commands a majority in the Lok Sabha as Prime Minister. The Prime Minister does not have a fixed tenure. He continues in power so long as he remains the leader of the majority or coalition. After the appointment of Prime Minister, the President appoints other ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. Sometimes a person who is not a member of parliament can also become a minister, but such a person has to get elected to one of the houses of the parliament within 6 months of appointment as minister. The Prime Minister is free to choose ministers as long as they are the members of parliament. The Prime Minister is usually from the party or the coalition that has majority in the Lok Sabha. So let us know about the team of the Prime Minister, that is the Council of Ministers. It is classified in three heads: Cabinet Ministers, Minister of State, Independent, and Minister of States. First, Council of Ministers. It comprises of usually 60 to 80 ministers of different ranks. Council of Ministers is the official name for the body that includes all the ministers. Cabinet Minister. Cabinet Minister are usually top level leaders of the ruling party or parties who are in charge of the major ministries. In the name of council ministers, they take the decision. There are around 20 cabinet ministers. Cabinet is thus the inner ring of the council of ministers. Minister of State with independent charge. They are usually in charge of smaller ministries. They participate in the cabinet meetings if, when specially invited. They are attached to and required to assist cabinet ministers. Next, Minister of States. Every minister has secretaries who are civil servants. The secretary provides the necessary backgrounds information to the ministers to take decisions. The cabinet as a team is assisted by the cabinet secretariat. This includes many senior civil servants who try to coordinate the working of the different ministries. They are attached to and required to assist ministers, cabinet ministers, since it is not practical for all the ministers to meet regularly and discuss everything. The decisions are taken in cabinet meeting. That is why parliamentary democracy is in most countries is often known as the cabinet form of government. The cabinet works as a team. The ministers may have different views and opinions, but everyone has to own up to every decision of the cabinet. So now let us know about the roles and powers of the Prime Minister. As the head of the government, the Prime Minister has wide-ranging power. He coordinates the work of different departments. He chairs cabinet meeting and coordinates the work of different departments. He takes the final decision. He exercises generally supervision over the department. He distributes the work to the ministries and has power to dismiss the ministers. When Prime Minister quits, the entire ministry quits. He has much more power than the cabinet. His decisions are final in case of disagreements arise between departments. All ministers work under his leadership. If The cabinet is most important, most powerful institution in India. Within the cabinet, the prime minister, it is the prime minister who is the most powerful. The powers of prime minister have increased so much that parliamentary democracies are sometimes seen as prime ministerial form of government. The Prime Minister controls the cabinet and parliament through the party. The extent of power wielded by the Prime Minister also depends on personality of the person holding that position. However, in the recent years, the rise of coalition government have imposed certain constraint on the government that cannot take decisions as he likes. He has to accommodate different groups and fractions of in his party as well as among alliance partner. Do you remember what do we mean by coalition government? When none of the party they get majority vote and they form the majority by joining two parties, then it is known as coalition government. Let us know about the presidents of India. Here on the screen, you can see the list of presidents right from 1950 to present. That is, at present, we have Sri Ramnath Kovind ji as the president of India. Let us know about the powers of president. How a Let us know about the powers of the president. President, he is the head of the state. He exercises only nominal power. He represents the country but does not rule it. He is not elected directly by the people. The MPs and MLAs, they elect him. Let's discuss the legislative powers of the president. All the government activities takes place in the name of the president. The president can ask the council of ministers to reconsider its advice. Even a bill passed by the parliament becomes a law only after the assent of the president. The president can send the bill back to the parliament for reconsideration, but if the parliament passes the bill again, he has to sign it. Article 123 of the Indian Constitution talks all about the legislative power of the President. Special powers of the President. When no party or coalition gets a majority in the Lok Sabha, the President exercises discretion. The President appoints a leader who in his opinion can muster majority support in the Lok Sabha. In such a case, the President can ask the newly appointed Prime Minister to prove majority support in the Lok Sabha within a specified time. When a party or a coalition of party secures a clear majority in the election, the president has to appoint a leader of the majority party or the coalition that enjoys majority support in the Lok Sabha as the prime minister. Now let us move on to the judiciary, the third segment, the third branch, that is the Indian judiciary. So, Supreme Court is the highest authority in the Indian judiciary. The Chief Justice, they are appointed by the President. All the courts at different level in a country put together, they are called as judiciaries. The Indian judiciary consists of a Supreme Court for the entire nation, high courts in the states, and district court for each district and courts at the local level. India has an integrated judiciary system. This means that the Supreme Court controls the judicial administration in the country. Its decisions are binding on all other courts of the country. There is a judicial review which helps people. So, wherein the Supreme Court and the High Court can determine constitutional validity of any legislation or action of the executive in the country when it is challenged before them. Powers of the Supreme Court. As it is the highest authority, it can take up the disputes between the citizen of the country, between citizen and the government, between two or more state governments, between governments at the union and state level. It is the highest court of appeal in civil and criminal cases. It can hear appeal against a decision of the High Court. It controls the judicial administration in the country. Its decisions are binding on all other courts of the country. That means each and every court has to follow the decisions passed by the judiciary. Independence of judiciary. We have an independent judiciary. No one can intervene in the work of judiciary. Judge is not under the control of legislature and executive. Judges, they do not act on the direction of the government. This is what is independent judiciary. That's why all modern democracies have courts that are independent of the legislature and the executive. And even India has achieved this. Let us talk about the appointment of judges. The Supreme Court consists of one Chief Justice and 25 other judges. The Chief Justice is appointed by the President. The other judges are appointed by the President too, but in consultation with the Chief Justice and on the advice of the Prime Minister. Once a person is appointed as the judge, it is nearly impossible to remove him or her from the position. Let us know about the powers of the judiciary. Can a Supreme Court judge be removed? Or is it easy to remove a judge? It's not that easy, but yes, a judge can be removed only by an impeachment motion passed separately by two-thirds members of the two houses of parliament. All the above point reflects the independence of the Indian judiciary. Let us know about the constitutional power of the judiciary. It gives legal advice to the president or any other legal or constitutional matter. It is the guardian and final interpreter of the constitution. The Supreme Court and the High Court, they have the power to interpret the constitution of the country. They can declare invalid to any law of legislature and the action of the executive, whether at the union level or at the state level. If they find such a law or action is against the constitution, they can determine the constitutional validity of any legislation or action of the executive in the country when it is challenged before them. This is known as judicial review. The Supreme Court has also ruled that the core or basic principle of constitution cannot be changed by the parliament. The judiciary acts as a guardian of the fundamental rights. The citizens can approach the court to seek remedy in case of violation of their rights. It means that though the laws are being made by the legislature and once the laws are being approved or when a bill becomes a law, it is very difficult to suspend that law. Then the things comes in the court of Supreme Court. What is public interest litigation? Public interest litigation talks about people and their choice. Okay, anyone who feels that their rights are being violated or their rights are being taken away, they can approach to the court. This is known as public interest litigation. The court intervened to prevent misuse of the government's power to make decisions. They check malpractices on the part of public officials. That is why the judiciary enjoys a high level of confidence among the people. With this, we end our chapter. Happy learning, everyone.